Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful Yom Kippur, a meaningful fast of real growth, of real hisromimus, of real hiskashrus, LaHashem Yisbarach. And now we find ourselves in these very, very busy days in between Yom Kippur and Chag HaSukkos. And it's amazing, it's very striking. If you take a look at the Ramah, the last halacha that Ramah mentions in Hilchos Yom Kippurim, this is found at the end of Siman Tov Reish Chav Dalet, Hamedaktikim, those that are meticulous and careful, Matchilim miyad b'motzei Yom Kippur b'asiyas hasukkah, kedei latzeis mi mitzvah al ha-mitzvah, is that we right away after Yom Kippur we eat and then we go out and build our sukkahs because we want to jump from mitzvah to mitzvah. Interesting that the very next halacha is the beginning of Hilchos Sukkah. And once again, the Ramah sees fit to repeat this halacha. U'mitzvah letakin hasukkah miyad lachar Yom Kippurim, the mitzvah b'liyado al yachmitzena, is that the last halacha in Hilchos Yom Kippur, the first halacha in Hilchos Sukkah is right after Yom Kippur, after you eat, go out and build your sukkah. We want to jump from one mitzvah to the other. We want to connect and bridge the gap between Sukkot, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, and that's certainly emphasized by the Ramah. Just like to posit, why does Ramah emphasize the mitzvah of binyan hasukah? What about arba minim? What about other aspects of Chag HaSukkos? No, specifically build your sukkah. Rav Asher Weiss cites in his Sichos on the Moadim in Maimer Nun on Yom Kippur, he says at the end of Ne'ilah, at the end in Ne'ilah itself, so the power of the Ne'ilah Tefillah is profound, is very deep, and we cry out to Hashem in the most, from the depth of our heart. It's a very, very intense tefillah. And he asks the question, is that why do we not have a sense, at the end of the day, we have Itzumo Shel Yom, is Mechaper, why don't we have a sense of kapara, a sense of simcha? We do a little bit when we say L'Shana Haba, but for the most part, Ne'ilah is really, really profoundly intense. A lot of Bechia, a lot of Yira, a lot of that kind of tefillah. So he cites a mashal of the Dubna Magid, and the Dubna Magid makes a mashal, tells us a mashal of a king who marries off his daughter, his princess, to a Ben Melech, to a prince of a neighboring community, and they live together, and they live far away from this king's palace, from his kingdom, and they're living life. And a short while afterwards, the king comes to visit his daughter and her husband, the prince, and he notices they seem to have an incredible relationship. The prince treats his daughter so incredibly nice, with such respect, with such love, with such care. Seems a beautiful, beautiful relationship. And in the course of his visit, as he's about to leave, the king, the daughter, the princess, pulls the king aside and says, listen, what you saw here was not real. My husband is actually not such a nice fellow. He doesn't treat me nicely at all. This was all a facade. It was all a charade. He put on a great show for you, but I'm unhappy. He's not treating me nice. He's not a good person whatsoever. This whole thing was just a charade for you. And the king hears this, and he's upset. He's upset. Says the Dubna Magid, that's what the Satan has a taina on us on Yom Kippur. He says to Ribono Shalom, look, you think the Jewish people, you think Bnei Yisrael, this is what they are. This is a charade. This is a joke. This is just they're putting on an amazing, amazing show. That they don't need food, they don't need drink, they don't need anything. They're just in shul all day, pouring out their hearts in tefillah. And you know what? The Satan has a point. The Satan is onto something. We're not Yom Kippur Jews. We're not on that level. And therefore, when that cognition, when we realize that hits us at Ne'ilah, we have to just kind of say, no, we're being sincere. This is what we want. This is what we're about. We really, really, really want to turn over the page. That's the Dubna Magid's message, and that's why our tefillos of Ne'ilah are so, so intense, based on this mashal. So Rav Asher Weiss wants to take it a next step. So the king is going to have to go ahead and leave his daughter. Kachu darko shel malchus. He's got to go back to his kingdom. He's got to leave his people. So he bids her farewell. But shortly thereafter, he sends her a telegram and says, I want you and your husband now to come visit me. And I want you to visit me for a week's time, for a lengthier period of time. Not just that one day visit that I stayed by you, but I want you to stay by me for a full week. And in that sense, I'll have the opportunity to really observe, to really have a sense of what's truly, truly going on. Says the Rav Osher Weiss, that's the pshat in Sukkot. That's the pshat in right after Chag, right after Yom Kippur, we build our sukkah, specifically the sukkah. The sukkah is the, if you will, the tzilsa de hemnusa, the palace of Hashem. This is where we are now joining Hashem in His place. We're joining the Melech in His place, and now we have a week's time to kind of corroborate, was Yom Kippur a charade? Was it a joke? Or are we ready to turn over a new leaf? This is the week that we have to prove ourselves. That's the bridge, one of the many bridges, but that's the bridge between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, to go ahead and prove that it wasn't just a one-time deal. It wasn't just one day of going overboard and then right back to where we were. We pick up steam. We say, let's build a sukkah right now. Let's take that momentum of Yom Kippur and carry it into those intermediate days as we get ready for Yontif, and then experience Yontif on a whole new level. And Bez Hashem then experience the rest of Tishrei on a new level, and Cheshvan on a new level, and carried over into Kislev and into Hanukkah. That's the challenge. That's the mission. And that's the test. That's the test if Yom Kippur was a charade, or are we changed people? Are we elevated people? Are we different? Be'ez Hashem will take the koach and the power of our tefillos of Yom Kippur, and Mirz Hashem carry them into this Shabbos, into the Chag HaSukkos HaBo'aleinu L'Tova, and into the year that is ahead.